Welcome to day 3 of the Pure International Conference for the Americas, Europe and Africa. This is track 2. My name is Eiken Friedrichsen. I am head of the CRIS division at Kiel University in Germany, and I will be the moderator for track 2 today. As you probably remember from yesterday and the day before, if you have any questions to the speaker, please don't hesitate to put them in the live Q&A box at the right-hand side of your screen. We will try to answer them, time permitting, or at the end of the session. Now I have the pleasure to announce the first speaker, which is Hanna Voog. Hanna is a librarian at Lund University in Sweden, and she works as an assistant system manager for Lund University's Pure. Today she will be presenting on making the external organizations an internal affair. Hanna, please go ahead.
Thank you, Eiken. Well, it's always difficult in these Pure conferences to find a topic that could be translated into all these different environments and conditions that all the users got. But I hope that this presentation will at least give you some insights on how we have used and how we have worked with external organization at Lund University. And I would say that we have worked quite a lot with our external organizations. This presentation will give you a short background on Lund University, so you know where I come from and what our landscape looks like. I will also mention something about how we have used this data, what kind of problems that we have found during the way, and of course, in the end, answer the big question: if it's worth it. Is it worth, as I wrote in the abstract, mopping the seashore, or is it even possible to capture all that constantly growing networks of collaborations? It sometimes feels like that I'm trying to hold a moonbeam in my hand. So I'll try to answer that question in the end. I'm of course also aware of that a lot of work is being done right now at Elsevier in relations to the external organization, and there are a lot of new features just released in the 522 with a commander central for cleaning data. I'm looking forward to change my title to Commander of Research External Organization Data in the future. I think that's very welcome that this work is being done, but I really think that some of the points that I'm going to make today is still a problem for the future and still needs to be addressed. So let's go. And before, maybe I should say something about this external organization that is an internal affair. I have to be frank, it's almost an obsession of mine to clean and to work with this external organization, and I guess it's going to show. So let's see. So why do we spend time cleaning the external organization data at Lund University? Well, collaboration, that's a buzzword in Sweden, at least in Sweden. I guess it's on more than here and in the field of higher education. And we needed a way to showcase our external organization. Until 2 months ago, we were the only institution in Sweden having Pure or even having a full-scale CRIS system in Sweden. So we haven't had a user group or anything that we could discuss this matters with. I have crashed the Danish user groups party more than once, and they are very kind to me to let me in. But still, we haven't had the possibility to discuss this with others having the same circumstances as we got. So we just had to do something. And I know that some of you might think, okay, we have Pure, we have organization, it's not cleaned in Pure, but we can still use it, or we use or other systems in order to show our external collaborations. Well, that is of course so, and we use a lot of serial data in order to show external collaboration. But I need to say something about Lund University in order to fully grasp why we needed to use the controlled list of external organization in Pure. At Lund University, it's a very broad university. And we have, somebody told me that we have research in every field except in horses. I don't know if that's true, but we have very strong environments in both medicine, fine arts, humanities, social science, etc. And as you probably know, a lot of these disciplines, they don't publish themselves in maybe articles or internationally. Maybe they only publish themselves in Swedish. They only do publications in books. We can't use the citation analysis. Maybe they don't publish themselves at all in that sense because they are in the fields of for instance, but they still have a lot of collaborations with external parts. How can we measure that? How can we showcase those collaborations? So we needed something that could be used not only on our strong STM fields, but also on our other disciplines. Something short about our Pure installation. We got it in 2016. We are using the modules Research Output, Activities, Prizes and Distinction, Awards, Project and Equipment that we call Infrastructure. We also have the Pure portal since actually, so it's not even a month old, but we had a custom portal before that. With that said, we have a very long tradition of gathering information about research outputs. We've been having an institutional repository since almost 15 years prior we launched Pure. And even though we had gathered a lot of information about our publications, even though publication that is not in, we had not that good data concerning the external organizations. So when we switched to Pure, we really thought that, okay, this is the time where we can discuss how can we make sure that we use this control list of external organization. How can we for the in information so that this can be reused in the best possible way. And I was maybe naive, but I thought in the beginning that this is a one-time job. We will do a large job in the beginning and then will be easier and easier and fewer things to clean. And I was so wrong. But it's not only in relation to the research output, of course, it's to all the different modules, and this has turned out to be somewhat of a problem. A short example of how we use this clean data before I entering how we clean it and the problems that we have encountered. We do a lot of collaboration analysis using the Pure data covering all disciplines. We do a lot of analysis using, for instance, civil information, of course, as well. But this is a way of connecting the dots between the disciplines and the faculties that is not represented in other sources. This is just one example of that kind of analysis that we have done. Another thing that we have done is strategies with, for instance, specific countries, analyzing mobility, collaborations, etc. We have some use cases where we have looked at India and Asia by doing very broad searches in the database, trying to find what's been collaborated around and with. And actually these strategies, they are kind of my measuring point in seeing, okay, how do we at all move forward? Because in the beginning, when we did this kind of analysis, we got long lists of external organizations collaboration, but these lists were totally useless. There were a lot of duplicates. There were half half entries that been added through imports, for instance. They were not specified in regards to what kind of type of organization it was. So we couldn't really use it. We couldn't really say something about it. And this has, of course, improved. Now when we do this, we get a lot of neater lists where we can use it. But there are still some problems with this information. So how do we clean this? Well, we do a lot of this. Is very much a manual work, and I know that Elsevier have been working on this way of cleaning it externally and then add the information back in the system, moving it back into the system. I really don't think that this would work for us because, as you will see, I have some points regarding what you need to consider when cleaning. So this is in a very manual work. What I do, I add duplicate names and name variants. I add Scopus ID, so I use Scopus a lot in order to search for different IDs, and as you know, if you have used Scopus and looked at the affiliations in Scopus, there are a lot of things in that list as well that needs to be cleaned. And I've been in contact with Scopus many times in order to try them to fix things that are wrong in their data. So it's not just that you can map it Scopus, you really have to double check, is this really the institution that I'm looking for? Especially when it's institutions that's not written in an English speaking country, and maybe the title or the name of the organization has been translated, and it could be many different kind of translations, and maybe it's not that good. Of course, for you that hasn't worked with this, this is a very good way of collecting all the information. And we have decided as a guideline that as often as we can, we should add and clean this data to be on the top node of the external organization. So in this case, the University of Manchester, we try to collect all the information under the flag University of Manchester and not under different departments. This is the only way I can see that we can do this in order to make any use of the information afterwards. So let's discuss the problems. Of course, we get a lot of duplicates from the imports. We get a lot of duplicates. We get a lot of half organizations, like this example here. We get one organization called Department of Zoology, and the other one is the university. We also have a lot of it's the deduplication filter is not that good, since if you can see this Sheffield example, it can't match Sheffield University with University of Sheffield, for instance. So that creates a lot of duplicates, even on very common or very used external organizations. Another problem that we got, and I would say that this is the most difficult one, and the one that standing in the way of using external cleaning service. It's that different modules have different needs. When it comes to external organizations, then the top node of an external organization is the most relevant information. Who have we collaborated with on University of Manchester? It's not really important if we collaborated with somebody at a specific department. At Lund University, we have 1,200 departments. I mean, it's impossible for us to keep a record of other universities if they have 1,200 departments. We can't really, it's hard to keep track of the organizational changes within our own institution. So for us, it's easier. But then again, when we have other modules in Pure that we need a more specific information, we need a department. We might even need a research group on another institution, for instance, in the personal profile, and to be used in the CV module. this creates a problem, since then we have to keep this specific external organization alongside with the top node organization, resulting in that the University of Copenhagen got 44 different entities. And the problem is that then when somebody adds the new information into the system, it's very common that they put it on the wrong one. So this creating a very cluttered list, and material is added to the wrong information. Another thing that that I'm looking forward to see how that works in this new command center is that we have recognized a problem where we are blocking our own administrators. If somebody's working on output and I'm working on cleaning the external organization data at the same time, then often I am blocking them from saving. So, for instance, if somebody has imported a publication in physics with 500 authors, and they've been sitting and editing the external organization on not all of these authors, but maybe many of them, and they have spent a lot of time fixing with the open access journal policies and et cetera, and then I go and change external organization in the background. I never the research output in any way, but what happened is when they try to save it, I'm blocking them, and they get this cannot save because conflicting changes. And this has created a lot of frustration in our organization. We are about 60 persons working with validating research output, and I can't really say to them that you're not allowed to do it during these office hours, because office hours is when they do it, meaning that I've been sitting a lot of weekends and evenings doing this cleaning in order not to disturb them. So we really should be warning. I've been sending it in as an improvement suggestion. We have made a way to come around this a little bit. It's an example of a report that I've created in the new report module, where I have filtered on current research, current workflow steps. So I can see all external organization not validated in relations to research output that is that is validated, so I know that I will not be in a conflict. I know that my time is running out, so I will run through this last slides. We also have a problem with the Pure portal, in that sense that this collaboration in, for instance, on these maps, they are not aggregated. So if I use the hierarchy that now is in place in Pure, where you can put external organization in a hierarchy saying that this department belongs to this university, for instance, but in these maps, they will still be shown as separate lines. So you will see one line for Copenhagen University, one line for Department of Communication at Copenhagen University, one line for another department. And I would, of course, like it to be added to the top node and to the parent in the hierarchy. So is it worth it? Yes, it is. I think so. I really think so. A broad university like Lund University needs a way of showcasing the external connections. And we can really use of this unique list in Pure to provide us with data that can't be visualized elsewhere. But really big improvements that need to be done here when it comes to hierarchies with the cleanup and the showcasing in the Pure portal, in order to make this in the best possible way. Because as it is now, I spend a lot of time doing this cleaning, and if it keeps taking a lot of time and never gets easier, it will be hard to keep up this big workflow. I think that's my time, and I think it's time for questions. You can, of course, contact me afterwards if you would like.
Thank you, Hanna, for this very interesting presentation. We have some questions. I just read them. One is from Henrik. He asks, do you think some of the problems created by different modules or different needs could be solved with text fields that lives on the piece of content instead of the need to choose an external organization from the database, especially if the text field is also used as the content title in the portal?
Yes, I do. I've been trying to push this before, because I really think that would be a great way of solving it. I think that there still should be a possibility to add external organization to, for instance, the CV, but a free text field where you can add more specific information. So it's only stored in that specific place, but you can still use the information regarding mobility, for instance, so that you can still have the connectivity. Okay, we use that information a lot as well when we, for instance, get visitors from another university saying we have a visitor from the University of Ghana. Then we can see, okay, who at Lund University has previously worked in University of Ghana, and that is a very good way of using the information. But then we need the connection to the external organization list. I hope that answered your question, Henrik.
Then there is another very practical question from Lillian, who asks, is there an issue we can vote for concerning the hierarchy in the collaboration map? So an issue
I should have prepared that. Maybe I can put it out in the Slack channel afterwards. I have made tons of different, and I think that one is one as well. But the best way is maybe that I put it out in the Slack channel with my different improvement suggestions.
That sounds great to me. And then there is another question from Matt Nelson. We actually do a yearly university collaboration report and have very similar issues. I'd like to know if you have also hit the soft limit on merging external organizations in the current system.
Hit the soft limit. I don't know if I know what you mean with the soft limit of merging. Matt, could you maybe send me an email afterwards and we can discuss it, so I really know what you mean?
This sounds like a very practical idea. We still have some time left, so I'll take another question. And there's one from John McCaffrey. Do you think there is a role for an independent, unique ID for external organizations such as ROAR?
I'm not familiar with ROAR, but I really think that there could be other. I mean, I've been using. Scopus has their limitation when it comes to their information. So I really think that if there is a good way of entering other kind of IDs or having other kind of ways of finding information, I think that will be great. But I'm not familiar with the details about ROAR. I can see another question here. Did you say you have 60 people working on validation? Yes, we have it's a large university, so we have about 60 people, but not all of them are frequent validators.
Yeah, I think there someone posted the ticket number for the portal collaboration map ticket, and
Great.
and
Somebody's
John
doing.
posted the ROAR ID, and I think that were all the questions for the time being.
I can see there is
There's one left.
question.
We can take it very quickly. Are you using the external organization cron job at all to, for example, to bring in Scopus IDs?
We tried that, but it didn't work. It created more problems than it fixed problems. So that's why I'm a little bit. I don't think that's possible to use those kind of machine ways. You have to do it manually.
Okay, thank you. So we are actually running out of time. Thank you very much, Hanna.
Thank you.
Thank you all of you for your questions. This was session 1. In 5 minutes, the next session will start, and it focuses on implementation, process management, model, and governance of Pure at the Universidad de los Andes in Chile. See you there. Thank you. Okay, so